Hi, this is Paul from Logical Thinking, and today I welcome Holly Hallowell to the program. She's an author. I just I can't believe all of the things that she does. She is just going to blow you away, just like she blew me away. So let me bring her on to the program. And Holly, how you doing?
Oh, so good. Thank you, Paul. We are old souls that have definitely known each other before. I was delighted that you asked me to be on your show, and I'm really just thrilled that you're finding such resonance with the information that I'm bringing forth at this time that it's so needed. And it certainly crosses a lot of T's and dots a lot of I's in terms of the things that we're ready for as a new um, way to be in this world. And the ascensive energy is just off the hook. We're all receiving a lot of information as we upgrade. And so it's just a really exciting time. So thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, absolutely. I read your book. First book in years that I have read from cover to cover. I just couldn't put it down. Um, I had to because I really needed to go to bed. I was starting to see double. So I got about halfway through on one
Oh,
day. And the first thing I did the next morning was make a cup of coffee. And immediately after that, I picked up the book again and commenced reading. Uh, this is amazing. The Anahata codes and uh, actually impressing blessing water and impressing intention and desire on the water and then drinking it and basically short circuiting the limiting beliefs of the subconscious because the water doesn't understand what you've experienced throughout history and all the limiting beliefs that have been created like since age 7. um, and the water just goes to work. It only knows what it's supposed to do, and it does it. Is that right?
yeah. So it's very interesting. Water is very strange, and although it's seemingly simple molecularly, it's that simplicity that is the perfect template for holding the infinite universe. You know, if you zoom out far enough onto anything, it becomes a dot. And so we are living fractals in that we are source experiencing our little neck of our creator fabric. And water is sort of the template on which we are flowing. It is connected to all things at once through the wormhole that's at the center of every molecule, and it's cohesion. But not only that, it's emotion. And so it does hold energy and information, but more importantly, it holds memory. And so, literally, the word water translates to light memory. And that's what water does. It is a liquid crystalline supercomputer. You mentioned we can intend and imprint, but we can also scan and imprint. And the third way we can do it is pull and imprint. So this is truly the closest thing to ether in physical form. Water is a fractal, a living fractal. And science is just catching up to really understand and leverage what we can do with this most basic technology. The issue being, we have been mistreating our water. It has not been used, as you said, it doesn't know the difference. It's remembering. When we sanctify our water, we wake it back up and we start
Mhm.
singing these songs of its divine nature. And it goes, I know that tune. And the hydrogen bonds start miraculously forming into the Merkaba and spinning into these vortex like flows that literally connect with everything in the universe. And so this is what I mean by pulling and imprinting the water. So again, there's 3 ways that are mentioned in my book. You can scan your bodily needs molecularly through the saliva of your water, your bio water, and the water will fractalize and pull forth anything that you require. It is absolutely a revolutionary process, and I remembered this from a past life, and we can get into that in a while. I know we have a very long time, but you're right in saying that, you know, the water is going to hold whatever it's given, and we've really given water PTSD over time. We've pretty much messed it up, you know. It's like, whoa, poor thing. And so we really need to sanctify our water and to bring it back to life. And when we restructure our water, it remembers and it connects and it transforms and it pulls through whatever you desire. And then you become a precise match to anything in the universe. And this isn't just, you know, like a lot of people will go, ooh, that sounds great. How is that possible? Well, there are physicists such as Nassim Haramein. If you haven't heard of him, go look him up. He explains mathematically how at the center of every molecule is a wormhole that connects everyone to everything. And water is the only element that has the ability to restructure itself at the millionth of a second speed, where its molecules morph, and in that morphing, in that empty isness, it connects to any information across the universe. So we're really remembering, and that's why it's called light memory. Light is photon, and memory is emotion. And when we can return to the memory of wholeness, we are aligned, we are thriving, we are expanding, we are balanced. And I bet you can guess what's the number one thing that disrupts that flow. This is ancient wisdom that everyone talks about in any modality. And that is, I'll let you guess. What is, you think, the number one most destructive force on your body's ability to communicate?
Stress.
What would you guess?
Stress.
Yes. And zoomed out from that is fear. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Stress is a byproduct of fear, but essentially, you're right. Fear, and that's why I wrote one of my books is a 21-day guided journey, detoxing fear layers. Because truly, when we are singular, when we feel like we are not unified, and when we are separated, and we are condensing our energy layers, and we aren't expanding, and we're stagnant, and we aren't growing, and we're in fear, that's when things start to miscommunicate and things get lost in translation, and that's dis-ease. And so the ultimate cure for your body's flow, and I don't mean cure in the sense of, you know, I just mean when we can communicate and our body is online with its divine blueprint, which is a series of sacred shapes and flow and water, we are 99% water on a molecular level. It's incredible. When you aren't working with your bio water, the internal water of your body, you are missing out on 99% of your ability to magnetize the people, places, and things that create your best life. So this is untapped. I feel like I'm on the verge. And as you said, the world is ready. You were like, wow. And now it's time. Earlier when we were talking before the show, it's totally true. 7 years ago, when I started doing all of this, people didn't understand what assisting frequencies were. It went over their head. And now innately, when I say assisting frequencies, people are like, oh, I get that. And these truths that resonate in the center of our hearts, which is the other portal in our anatomy. That's why I go by Anahata. That's the heart chakra. That's the center point of the wormhole, which is the tube torus, which is, you know, none of this is by chance. This is intelligent design. and it's the markings of God. It's how he created everything. Sacred geometry is at the root of every single mechanism, organism, and even thought. It's all interconnected, mind, body, soul, expressed on 3 planes: mental, physical, spiritual. And fear disrupts that, and love expands. And thankfully, that's why they say God is love, because it's intelligent. That is the most intelligent structure available. So when you can sanctify your water and remind it of what it can do molecularly, it does so in exquisite ways. Masaru Emoto, he really did a lot to put a lens on how that looks physically by freezing water based on sending it negative fear-based thoughts or high vibe prayer-based gratitude, love thoughts, and how water is emotion in the Chinese medicine. So it's cohesion, it's unity.
I've
And
actually interviewed
I'll
Michiko
pause
Hayashi.
here. I know I tend to go on and on and on one thing to the next,
Oh, that's okay.
but it's
That's okay.
fascinating. It's absolutely
I've
fascinating.
I've actually interviewed Michiko Hayashi. She's the one who took over the Emoto Peace Project when we lost Dr. Emoto. And I've actually had her on, and I'm kicking around the idea. I'm thinking probably in March, uh, something like that, that there is going to be a logical thinking with you and Michiko Hayashi on at the same time, if that would be agreeable to you.
Oh, it would be so amazing. I would love to send her my book and some rocks and have her chew on what it is I'm bringing forth. I don't believe there's ever been a time in history that we aren't more ready to join hands as the neurons of Gaia and really come up with next level technology that we desperately need right now because of the perception. I like to say fear is false evidence appearing real, and there's a lot of
Mhm.
false evidence appearing real right now that I think we are all waking up at warp speed out of survival mode. It's evolution or extinction time, and so we're upgrading because we have to. And so when we can come together and put our minds and hearts together towards the same goal of survival and thriving and creating the new world through remembering who we are as alchemists, who we are as sovereign beings, that's the next frontier. And water technology is going to be leading the way in this
Mhm.
in the upcoming years. The next decade, what we do with water is going to be absolutely mind-blowing and jaw-dropping. And I'm so delighted that I received this information 7 years ago via the Anahata codes and have been working diligently on understanding myself. What does this mean and how can we leverage it? And I've received my information by magnetizing certain science, but also directly from source, because as you know, inside my book, there's information that's not available on the planet. I
Mhm.
literally remembered it from my Muin roots 17,000 years ago. I had a vivid memory, which we can get into now if you want to, but it was really exciting. And I was like blown away. And that unlocked more of the information in the past 2 years than all 5 prior. It's just been this really speedy awakening into new territory with water. So,
Well, you had experienced an NDE, right?
oh,
Near death
yes.
experience?
Did I tell you about that? Yeah,
Uh,
I did. It's
yeah.
in my book, Resonance Remembrance, which I have yet to publish. I was in the Gulf of Mexico doing a mission trip, and I was swimming with my youth group, and we were out there, and I had jeans on, a sweater. My hair was long as usual, and it was chilly. And we were just kind of wading about waist deep. And suddenly we were like, all right, enough fun. We've been out here for a half hour or whatever. Let's come back in. Well, we got taken by a riptide. And I didn't know, and neither did anyone, that we were supposed to just let it go and go out and then circle around when it died out. We just kept fighting. We were trying to get back to shore, and it was 1 step forward, 5 steps back, 1 step forward, 5 steps back. And I was just getting pounded, and I couldn't touch the bottom, of course, at that point. We were so far offshore. And so we prayed, and I said, all right, well, I know I'm going to, death is not the end. It's another gateway. And so I thought, well, let's get this over with because it was painful to breathe in that salt water, boy. And I was just so tired. And so I consciously said, all right, I'm ready. And I remember sinking down to the bottom of the ocean, and it was very quiet, and the pressure was intense, my ears, anyway, my lungs, and just the pain. And I thought, okay, this will be, hopefully I can pass out quickly. And I remember hitting the bottom of the ocean and my jaw going like locking. And I heard this weird sound of the sand, and I don't know what it was, the water. Boy, that was intense. And I thought, that's it, lights out. And next thing I know, I'm on the beach being resuscitated, throwing up water, and like, what the heck just happened? Well, a triathlete had been training and saw we were in trouble and saw my hair go under and grabbed me out. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
But it's this water thing, right? I don't know. Besides the fact that I'm a mermaid, I am literally, my astrology, when astrologists look at my chart, they're like, say what? I'm a 3-time Pisces. I'm Sun Pisces, Moon Pisces, Mercury Pisces, which is pretty rare, let's just say. And so I consider myself a mermaid, not to mention my Hallowell roots. My last name is Hallowell. And I asked my dad, well, what does that mean? And he says, it's of the holy well. These are people that used to, my lineage is of those that were caretakers to those ancient holy wells in Europe. So no joke, it's in my DNA to be birthing this. And as I said, I've got memories of both my Muin lifetime as well as a lifetime with Jesus. And of course, he was the master alchemist, walking on water, turning it into wine and whatnot, baptism. These are ancient wisdoms and truths that have been sort of dumbed down into water's just the simplest element, and it's just what it is. And no, there's 70 anomalies associated with water that make it the strangest element on the planet. And we're unlocking all of that now that we have the cognitive and spiritual ability to expand past our own identities and into the supernatural power of water and what it can bring to your life. And we are water. So this is us. We are, as we expand and understand ourselves on a cosmic level, on an internal level, on a connected level, it's only natural that we're remembering how to use water in these ways. So exciting time to be alive.
This is something we should have been taught. This is something we should have been taught at birth, trained in the importance of water and the value of intention and directing water for our own best good and highest purpose. We should have been taught this. We weren't. So
I know. Well, here's the thing. I think it was actually intentionally veiled, right?
Absolutely.
That they don't want us to know. It's just too powerful. It's just too powerful for us to catch wind that we can create elixirs out of the most basic element and use it to balance our mind, body, soul, and expand in. And here's the other part that's so exciting to me. You literally upgrade your DNA. Okay, they call it junk DNA because they don't know what 90%
because they don't understand what it does yet.
And guess what? Yeah. This is what I prophesy that we're going to find out. We're actually capable of coding that DNA. We're evolving ourselves through water technology. I'm just
So
putting it out there, and I can't wait until maybe 100 years from now when they look back on these interviews and go, whoa, that was so outlandish. And it turns out that's exactly how it works. We turn into superhumans through optimizing our bio water and activating evolutionary DNA. I'm just going to be just straight to the point and say that I know that's where we're headed. And
just
I can
throwing it
see
out
it. I
there.
can feel it. I'm just throwing it out there. That's how we
Yeah,
evolve.
just throwing it out there. And well, the whole connection between higher self, I mean, the higher self has the blueprint of our DNA, all of the strands of our DNA, the active ones that we know about and the
Yeah.
inactive ones they call junk because they just don't understand what they do. But that doesn't mean that we don't have
Exactly.
access to those DNA strands and that we cannot use
Yeah.
the essence, the basis of life in water and the infinite energy in water. I mean, water has many, 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 many times the energy of any other element. I mean, it has
Yeah.
oxygen, hydrogen, but if you go down and look at the molecular level or the atomic level, it has more energy than even gasoline, than any other entity or any other substance. To be able to
Mm-hmm.
control, to program, and to benefit from that is amazing. And that's what you bring to the table. Water is the microphone for love
Yeah.
to sing
I'm
its
so
songs.
fortunate.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
water is the microphone for love to sing its songs. When we use it, all ourselves remember and join in the chorus. Right out of your book.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. And I
So,
want to just say real quick, I'm very confident because I know this information is such a huge gift to the world. It is not an ego thing. I just happen to be on the same bandwidth and asking for the information. I believe in the 4 A's of Anahata, which are ask, align, allow, activate. And so I'm just as excited about this technology as anyone. And it can come across, I get it, as, oh my gosh, she has such a huge ego. This is everyone's right to remember this. And I'm having just as much fun as everyone else encountering this information as we remember together. And so I just want to
mhm,
say that, when I say, oh my gosh, I'm just so grateful, it's not me. I'm just a channel. I just happen to be on the bandwidth. You can think of it as like, someone who, when there's inventions around the world simultaneously. Like I think there were a few people
mhm,
that invented the telephone at the same time, or there's few patents filed. It's because we're tapping in beyond our bodily self into infinite wisdom, and we're pulling through based on our alignment with that information technology that's always been there. We just didn't understand it. And so I just happened to be in that framework asking for this information. And what happened was I magnetized the answers. Within the question, there is the answer. Within the
mhm,
asking, you receive. Ask and you shall receive. And so I just want to reiterate that this is everyone's technology and that I am beyond grateful to be the channel, the conduit to remember what was already here. And together, as we evolve this technology, water technology, I know there's going to be many, many more pivotal alignments with infinite wisdom that is just going to take this to the next level and the next level and the next level. One of which is, as you know, I talk about in my book, waterbending rocks, these little clear quartz crystals. So I don't know if you
mhm.
want to talk about that real quick. The memory
Yeah,
I
let's do
had,
that.
so I've been working with water for 7 years and more in lifetimes before, obviously. But what happened was I have been channeling assisting frequencies and using that to evolve my DNA and my understanding and expand my energy field and really create my own world through alchemy. There's only 5 elements: earth, air, fire, water, ether. And
Mhm,
water's always been my favorite because I'm a water sign, I'm a mermaid, I've got all these things that add up to, you know, the holy well, etc., that add up to water is my favorite. And it's emotion. You know, I'm a very emotional person. I feel very deeply. We can get into that later. But the point is, I was sitting in my kitchen making dinner for my daughter. It's just me and my daughter here in Southwest Florida. I've been here for 4 years. I was told to come here to heal the water. And so I've been doing grid work, hosting workshops on how to work with earth, air, fire, water, ether practically and use it to alchemize. And I'm sitting there making dinner, and my mind was really nowhere in particular, which was great. It was in a relaxed, open, receiving mode. And suddenly I have this vivid memory from when I was a muon 17,000 years ago. And I was a waterbender. We could walk on water. The surface tension of water, if you combine that with wave, you can actually tread on water as if it was solid. It's one of the anomalies. It's got the highest surface tension of anything. And so it was interesting. I'm there walking on water, and I'm also taking a pomegranate seed and placing it under my tongue. And I'm scanning my body for whatever it needs. Mind you, when I had this memory, I knew exactly what it was. It wasn't like I was like, what am I doing? It was like, duh, I forgot. And now I remember. And so the pomegranate seed, you place it under your tongue. You can try this, anyone. I call it Hallowell coated water, but you can call it whatever you want. It's biofeedback. And when you place that seed under your tongue, the saliva in your body speaks to the water inside that sacred vessel that is the pomegranate seed, and it communicates what it needs. And if you take that pomegranate seed and you put it in water, water is going to then fractalize out the access through the wormholes to what you need. Now, it sounds outlandish, but water is cohesion. Water is ether on earth. And through the wormholes of water, anything can be pulled vibrationally. And that's all we are, is oscillating energy and information. The difference between a dog and an apple is just the rate and fluctuation of the electromagnetic energy field and the amount of earth, air, fire, water, ether. That's it. And so if you have access to all things because you're connected to all things, and water is a bridge that can be opened and used to pull through that wormhole, it's like a black hole. If you've ever heard of physicists talking about black holes, all the information is available in that one point, and it's the same. And so you pull that through. Water is that gateway, and suddenly you're drinking not only a water that can hydrate you. For once, most of our water is dead. We're severely dehydrated as human beings with all the processes we've abused water with. But when you re-sanctify that template, that canvas, and then through scanning, intention, codes, or imagination, you pull through that wormhole, whatever you desire, the water carries that energy and frequency and tells your cells, it sings that song. It tells you what you need to optimize. It's adaptogenic. And so I was sitting there having this, mind you, it was literally a 4-second memory, and I remembered all of that. That's why I call these downloads, because they're just so massive. I could write a whole book about that experience, and yet it happened in mere moments. And so I realized after I started teaching students about this a year ago, everyone was saying, well, I don't have access to pomegranate seeds. And I thought, well, what else is crystalline, and what else can carry and emit energy and frequency like a little wrapper? Well, of course, quartz crystals can. And so you place it under your tongue. I call it dropping in. And again, there's 3 ways to scan in. We can go over each one if you'd like.
Please.
But that's the premise surrounding how I remembered this ancient wisdom and what you can do with the crystal, the waterbending rock, I call it. You put it in a vial of water, Here's mine. Just a little bit of water. It's at the bottom there. You can see it. Whoops.
Hmm.
You can see the
Yeah.
waterbending rock, and the rock will communicate over the course of 6 hours on that blessed template, fractalizing out. And when you drink just one drop of it, and this is where you go back to scientific research they've done with homeopathy, where you can take one drop of water that's carrying an energetic signature and you can drop it into the Atlantic Ocean. And every drop of water in the Atlantic Ocean, you'll still be able to see that imprint. Like this isn't just me saying water can do this. They've scientifically diluted, I think it was the HIV virus. Okay, it has a specific signature. They diluted that down to the equivalent of one drop in the Atlantic Ocean, and you can still see it. Another study, listen to this one. Oh my gosh,
Where's
I just heard about this one. I was like, are you kidding me? There was a group of Ivy League students, and I think, actually, I don't even want to say what I don't know which Ivy League it was. Okay, so let's just not confuse the issue. I think it was Stanford, but anyway, they did a research and a TED talk about 10 years ago about how they reconstructed an entire conversation through the molecular changes of a bag of chips, meaning no one in the room was there, and they opened a bag of chips, and somehow they were able to scan it before and then after. And the difference between the two, they were able to reconstruct the conversation. Like that's how our sound has changes on the molecular structure of things around us, but it's the water inside of those structures that carries that energy and information. Mind
we're
blowing.
we're
Mind blowing.
surrounded by we're surrounded by vibrations of all kinds. There's photonic vibrations, there's water vibrations, there's sound vibrations. We can only
Yeah.
hear, see, and taste a very, very small section of the overall frequency
Mm-hmm.
spectrums that are available. I bet we can only see a very narrow
Yep.
band of light energy. Okay. And we can only hear a very small band of sound energy. And Sherry Edwards, we were talking about this a little bit before the show. She has soundhealthoptions.com, where she actually has identified the exact frequencies of sound, the notes that correspond with different ailments in the body, different deficiencies, different vitamins and minerals, different health conditions as far as organs that need stress management or need a little support. That's a great website as well. Now, what you're doing with the water is you're programming the water, and this is and the source water is from the blessed water or the mother well that you call it. And we can talk about that a little
Yep.
bit in a moment. So you take the water from the mother well or the blessed water, and then you program it either with your intent and your emotion, or the codes, the activating codes, or a programmed rock or vessel or crystal.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
water is amazing. It's I'm a Pisces myself. Okay, I'm always swimming in opposite directions, always, and also add to that, I'm left-handed, and you know what they say, only left-handed people are in their right mind. Okay, so uh,
I was told by a palmist I was originally left-handed and they programmed it out of me. And I don't doubt it. I mean, I remember distinctly writing and then being, the pen being taken out and put in my right hand. No, this is the way you write. Okay. I
the only
guess
problem
so.
I The only problem I have with being left-handed is scissors and using them because they're always they're
Mm,
made for right-handed people. But okay, let's talk about the
yeah.
blessed water or the mother well. Can we talk about that? You go
Yeah.
into it in depth in your book, the Light Memory book, which is available on
Yeah.
Amazon. So, can we talk about the creation of the blessed water or the mother well?
Yeah, it's super simple. I'm going to explain it in 4 steps, and then we can go further into any aspect of it. It's so simple, anyone can do it. You take some water, preferably a gallon, because you're going to want to drink this throughout the day. Um, and you are reminding it of its divinity. As I said, water comes to us and it's got PTSD. It's been treated. Also, the 90-degree angles that it encounters, it's really disruptive to its natural flow. And so by the time you receive water, even if it's chemically pure, it's not in sacred shape form at all.
It's
It's
been
not
beaten up.
structured energetically. And so what you want to do is remind those hydrogen bonds of their divinity. And to do that, you simply blast it with the photons from your heart. They did a study in Hassel, Germany, that showed that a regular heart beats 20 photons per second, but a conscious, mindful, focused on gratitude and love heart emits 100,000 photons per second. That's a massive increase. And so you literally can just stare at water and infuse it with your gratitude. This is where the visual proof that Masaru Emoto did with his work, and that they're still continuing on researching, proves that those high vibe emotions of gratitude, of love, that literally restructures the water. The water transforms. It forms bonds, like I said, which are the Merkaba. And so if you imagine the Merkaba vortex shape, which is just a triangle, and juxtapose another triangle. It's the six-sided shape that you've seen before in sacred geometry. And imagine it spinning. So you can research or Google Merkaba spinning. You'll see there's a vortex that happens, and that starts to spin. Well, if you send water molecules, which holds and emits energy and information, the sacred information from your heart of gratitude and love, it structures. It goes, oh, right. And it gets back online, essentially. All of the disruptions that occurred beforehand go away because it remembers how to unify. And once you have that well, that mother well, that's your template. It's like having a canvas that you can't paint on. It's just too erratic. There's too much, going on. You wouldn't be able to see the strokes. And then you take something that takes all of that gunk off and wipes it clean and puts some gesso on it. And it's this beautiful template, right? From which you can paint whatever you want. That's what we're doing when we sanctify water. When we build the mother well, we are restructuring on a molecular level the energetics so that the water then can receive whatever you want, either through scanning your needs, your body's needs, via your saliva, via your dosha, via what's going on in your body and all of its processes, or via your imagination. Neville Goddard, one of my favorites, he said that imagination is the workshop of the mind. We get what we think about. And so if we can vision what we desire as a memory before we experience it, we're a match because it's already given. So you can program the water with future memory. I know it sounds bizarre, but as we dive into more of this and we remember how it works, we remember that time's not linear. All we have is the now. And so if we want to experience a future that's outside of our current identity, the solution to that is become that future identity. And to do that, we go to work in the workshop of our mind through imagination. We vision the wish fulfilled as if it is so. And we get emotionally involved in the feeling that we will have when that comes true. And as if it is so, it's an old shaman hack. If you want it to rain, you don't say, I hope it rains. I really hope it rains. Where's the rain?
Mhm.
You say, I feel the rain on my face and I'm so grateful. And gratitude
Yeah.
implies that something has occurred, something has, you've received it already. So that's the magic, that looping that you can get past the is, which is past, and into the future memory of what you desire. And ask that water to hold it. And when you drink it, your body doesn't know the difference between what it thinks is happening and what is happening. And if you can get the molecules of your water to sing that song, you're a match. Things start coming to you. You could not believe the synchronistic events, the people, places, things, circumstances that open up for you like a platter. Case in point, I manifested my soulmate by doing one scan. It was like 2 minutes of my time. And I imagined his arms around me, our compatibility, the love he had for me, the love I had for him, how we were both totally complete separately. But when we came together, we just magnified everything. And he was just this wonderful, amazing person. And I knew him, but I'd never met him yet. But I knew he was there. He was a part of my life already. And I scanned that vision in and I dropped it into water. And the next day I drank it. And within 24 hours of me doing that love elixir scan, I met my soulmate. This is like, what just happened? You know,
And it,
my daughter, she's 11. She was there. She remembers me scanning. I said, baby, I'm scanning in my soulmate. And it literally happened within 24 hours. And we have had just a blast. Things continue to evolve and get better and better and better. And there's some pretty wild stories about what I've been able to do with this beautiful, beautiful man, inside and out, gorgeous, gorgeous soul. And so anyway, anything is possible. So again, you scan in through your bio water, you scan in through your imagination. And the third way is you scan in the code. And we can talk more about that, but let me have a little sip of water. That was a lot.
there you go. Sounds like a plan. So, but life just keeps getting better and better from that point that you scanned that your perfect mate, your perfect home, your perfect
Yeah.
life, your success, your where you live, what you have done as far as vacations or I'm going to say I'm going to call them journeys because they are
Yeah.
someone cannot like cruise around Alaska in a really big boat without calling it an expedition. It's a
It was
journey.
an expedition. It was. I kid you not. I go from not having a relationship at all to having the relationship of my life and past lives. And I mean, he's just everything and more. And I find myself in Alaska on these jet skis, and we are, well, mind you, a multi-million-dollar yacht. Okay. You're just going, how did I get here? And we're on these jet skis. And this was in June or July, this past year, 2021, mere months after I called him in. And there we are, we're on these jet skis, and we're going all the way to the end of this exquisitely complex arm, they call it. It was called Tracy's Arm. And, you know, it's just us, Nat Geo, some seals, and this huge glacier. And I'm like, what, literally, what just happened? And I mean, obviously, I know what happened because I've been doing this work. But you just, those are the awe moments where you go, you just overflow with this deep reverence for the complexity of the world and how it coordinates matter into being. And it's always for your good. It's always for your good. And the only time it doesn't turn out that way is when you forget who you are and how connected you are. And when you feel separate or in fear or in lack or in pain, all it is indicating it's an alarm. It's like saying, hey, there's an easier way. Uh, perhaps you want to go over here instead, because if you can have all things, you might as well have all things. And I believe that abundance is your birthright. That's who you are. We are abundant. Go outside and you look at the grass and you look at the way Mother Nature just gives and gives and gives. And we should all be able to have that. And it's just exquisite. So yeah, I've been able to do some pretty epic journeys. I was just in St. Thomas about a month ago on another amazing yacht, and having an extraordinary time. And it's just the tip. We're just starting now, and I'm seeing with all of my students, I get letters daily, people saying my energy levels, my joy, the less triggers. There gets to be, it's strange. It's like you're in this bliss bubble where you see what's going on around you and it's okay, but you're not going to be pulled in that way anymore energetically. You're sovereign. You get to choose. It's the whole Viktor Frankl type of thing where you're the eye of the storm, baby. Nothing's bringing you down because it's all good, even when it's not good. Like, you can celebrate your failures as optimization data, because it doesn't mean I'm immune to any sort of unfortunate things. It just means that I understand the value and the gift in them now. And I can take any experience and flip the resistance into productivity based on the fact that I'm always leveling up. So there's no circumstance that can come my way anymore that's going to get me out of the eye of the storm. I am the center point. And that freedom, when you surpass the pain of the world, frees you up to your blessings, because you only have a limited amount of ability to store all of this. And if you let go of all that fear, you can replace it with optimization. And boy, what that does for your vibration, people start saying, wow, you're lucky. And luck has nothing to do with it. It's your vibrational asking. And it's the way you alchemize even the things that appear to be unfortunate for you into optimization data and alignment with where you want to go. So
Is
it's
there a
very
way?
empowering stuff.
Is there a way to program or charge water to actually release you, liberate you from limiting beliefs, from limiting history and trauma?
Well, so I'm so glad you brought that up. The subconscious mind. So we all have three minds. We have our subconscious mind, which is our default. Those are the traumas, the fear-based mechanisms, the programs, the trauma, the past life junk, the ancestral, epigenetical, fight, flight, frozen, fear-based mechanisms trying to keep us safe, all of our ego stuff. We have that stored away in our subconscious, and that's 90% of who we are. We're running on default, and our body is an expression of that subconscious mind frame. Okay, 10% of our brain is conscious and aware and focused, and this is why New Year's resolutions don't work, because you can be 100% on board consciously with where you want to go, and still, if you don't address the 90% that's running on default, it's going to be a cybernetic pull. It's going to be like a rubber band. You're making progress and then boop, right back to where you were, and you're going, why? Well, it's your identity. It's your default patterns keeping you small and limited. And so when you say, can we get rid of those? It's more of when you disassociate with that trauma and pain, when you zoom out and you realize that you're all things. This is what I call your superconscious self. So you have your subconscious self, which is a whole bunch of trauma. 70%, I think Bruce Lipton says 70% of that 90%, it doesn't serve us. It's fear-based. So when we're just running on default, these patterns that don't serve us, it doesn't matter if our 10% brain is 100% on board, because we're still going to be on default that's not serving or not expansive. And so when you can zoom out of both of those and become super conscious, where you aren't identifying with any of that, suddenly the world opens up. And in fact, when you program water with whatever you desire, it can be an imagination, something that you desire you don't have. It can be a biological need that you know you actually require right now, or it can be a code. When you drink that, you're 99% water. It doesn't matter what you think at that point, your cell gets that information. And so this is a hack to get around any limiting beliefs. In the past, you really had to believe it for it to be so. Now your body believes it because it is so in form of water. I hope that makes sense. It's like you take a truth elixir and your body doesn't know the difference between what you think is happening and what's happening. And so when your cells are getting the actual information, it's like it's a done deal. You're a match to whatever it is because you've already, it is so. And so, yes, this is probably the most effective way to transmute and integrate any shadow information that is holding you back, any identity of limitation, any self-image, trauma-based, fear-based, program-based that's preventing you from accessing the you that is super conscious, because your body will be given new information and energy that aligns it with its divine self. So that's how it works.
So you use your conscious intent, your emotion, and your gratitude and love to charge water with what you desire for yourself, for what you intend for yourself. You use that to charge a crystal, to charge a rock, a waterbending rock. Use the waterbending rock to program the water. Then you drink the water, and then you have taken something that was a conscious intent and a love and emotion and gratitude. You've charged that water and completely short-circuited the fact that your subconscious believes that money doesn't grow on trees, or you're not pretty enough, or you're not wealthy enough, or whatever. You're completely short-circuiting all of that interference, that harmful interference, and taking it in and programming your body directly with the water. That's amazing.
Exactly.
Where can
your
they get
body
your
is
book?
your subconscious. So when you give your body or your subconscious, which is, so if you are 99% water and your body is your subconscious, if you reprogram your water, you just reprogrammed your entire subconscious. You now have 99% of you molecularly on board with where you want to go versus against it subconsciously. And this is why it's revolutionary, my friend. This is why I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the missing link to manifestation.
Like I said, I read it. I read your book cover to cover. Where can people get it? Can they get it from your website?
On Amazon. It's actually my fourth book. So my other books you can get on there as well. But I want to, just on Amazon. Just go there, you'll see it. I want to talk about the other missing aspect, and we can have some fun. I'd like you to pull a code. You're going to be like blown away. This is where I first started receiving information that we are connected to all things because we are all things. I had this profound experience in 2015 where I could feel the information I was asking for. This is why I say ask, align, allow, activate. I had been asking for information and I could feel it at the edge of my energy field. And my sacral chakra was going nuts for like 2 weeks. And it started to really get annoying. And I'll never forget the night I sort of got angry at God. I said, what do you want me to know? I was like, enough is enough. And I turned off the light. My head hit the pillow and boop, I got this download. And what resulted was the Anahata codes, my other book. And I want to just share with you, you had said you scan your conscious needs, you scan your imaginational needs, your goals. You also don't have to have a clue what you need. It will magnetize to you through your subconscious knowing that you need it. And so let's have some fun. This is the Anahata codes, the directory of codes. Now, this is beyond probability and into science, because I've never had someone pull a code that didn't go, oh my gosh, I know why I pulled that. And so this can be any concern or desire that you have. Your higher self, the superconscious you, already knows what's in this book, all of it. And it's a directory of various vibration. They have names. Some are crystals, some are trees, some are essential oils, some are colors, totem animals. These are physical things and abstract things alike, archetypes, even kins, biological processes, alchemical tools, elements, etc.
There are
They're all
literally
here.
codes for everything.
Yeah, I always say there's a code for that. Someone says, hey, do you have a code for cancer? I was like, no, there's no code for cancer, but there's a code for that, because everyone's cancer is their own. Cancer is just a description of cells going rogue and duplicating. That they just call it cancer. But your cancer and your cancer, what's holding them in place and making that communication occur is unique to each person. So this is not symptomatic. We aren't going after symptoms here. We're going to the roots of the energetic issue that is causing dis-ease. And so cancer is just one example. Let's say you have a desire that you can't seem to align with. Well, there's a code for that, because there exists something with the energetic signature that you need already articulated through something else. Mm-hmm. That's it. So it's kind of like you're going down the cosmic aisle, and everything that's ever been is available to you. And you can go, I need a little bit of that, and a little bit of that, a little bit of that. And I put it together and I activate resonance remembrance. That's what I call it. So we're going to do this. But the whole point is, you're already healed, healthy, and whole if it isn't for that miscommunication in some way. And when you can get back online, your body does so. That's your natural blueprint, is expansion, health, vibrancy, right? That's who you are. Discordant energy is not thriving. It doesn't advance. It doesn't grow. It dies. So your body's always, you've got billions of processes happening in your body, and every single cell in your body is seeking perfection and balance and homeostasis, right? So through that seeking, there is something that exists in the universe that will unlock the information and energy you need to activate resonance remembrance. And one of the coolest things, I think it was Deepak Chopra, when I first started this journey, when I got this information that came straight from source, my scientific mind was like, how? Like, but how? And so I went on this quest of ask, align, allow, activate, repeat. And I'm going to get a tattoo right here that says ask, align, allow, activate, because it's the key. But anyway, in the asking, I received, and I'll never forget that he was one person that came to me with answers, and he had said, the root word of healing is simply a return to the memory of wholeness, because we've forgotten that we are whole. That's it. So when you return to the memory of wholeness, you activate what I call resonance remembrance. You remember that you're already connected to that. And through that memory, you go, I have it. And you basically unlock all of these doors to these complex things that you don't even need to know about, biological responses that you don't even need to know about cognitively. They occur automatically. You're activating assisting frequencies is what you're doing, and evolutionary DNA. So let's try it. You're going to be blown away, and you don't need to be vulnerable and tell everyone about what it is. That's the coolest thing. It can be between you and you. So what I want you to do is think of something that you want or that you want to resolve. So this can be a concern you have or a desire. It works both ways, because what you desire that you don't have and something you want that they're just two ends of the same. The polarity works here. So concern or desire, think of one very specific thing. And you don't need to tell us what it is.
Okay.
You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So and now I want you to, without judgment, place that. Now, I do like to know, is this a desire or a concern that you want remedied? Is it something you want or something you want to overcome?
Desire.
A desire. Okay. And that just helps me frame what it is. So now I want you to imagine that desire already happening. So there's a you in other dimensional vibrational reality that's experiencing that because you thought it, because that, so now it's a thing, it's there. There's a you that has that. So that desire, I want you to pull that desire over the template of your heart. And I just want you to feel the gratitude you have for achieving that result. You have that, it's yours. It actually occurred. And even if you can't muster up gratitude as if it is so, think about someone else that has that and go, wow, they did it. They did it. It's so amazing because you're connected to that as well. So anyone's achievement is our achievement. It's a big celebration. So now on these pages are codes, and the codes are printed on page 8 through 233. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. And when I ask you, I want you to think of a number. Well, it's going to be your future self giving you the note, but just wait. When I do, the range is between 8 and 233, okay? Don't pick 7 and don't pick 234. It has to be between 8 and 233 because that's the pages of the codes, okay? So we're going back in. We're thinking of the thing that we want, and it's already done. It's already done. And in fact, the doorbell rings right now, and you walk over to the front door, and it's you. It's the future you that has this desire. And you pass yourself a piece of paper, and you open the piece of paper, and on there is handwritten a number between 8 and 233. What number is written there? Let the number come to you. 137?
Yeah, 137. Yeah. I couldn't see anything, but the number 137 just came to my mind.
Awesome. And you want to know something incredible? My students can verify this. I take people on what's called megamorphosis journeys every Wednesday. If you're in my Rainbow Tribe, I take you on these shamanistic journeys. And I'm not kidding you, and I can verify this, and you know nothing about this ahead of time. So I'm just saying, you know nothing about this. We just took a journey where I took us into the future to our dream home, living the life that we desire. And it's 2 years from now. And as we leave this place, our higher self says, oh, I almost forgot. And we are given a rose, a white rose from our higher self. And we look at the rose and we smell the rose with gratitude, and our higher self is already gone. And what we're left with is this beautiful rose, and we're looking at the rose and the petals and how they continue to open. And we see there's a number written on there. And guess what number I chose? 137. I kid you not. This just happened last week. I have a photo on my phone. In fact, I'm just going to grab it because it's that important. Wow, just incredible. We are seriously connected. Everyone is connected. And I'll just show you on my phone. You're just going to be like, are you kidding me? And so I bought myself white roses. Well, they're actually rainbow colored, and I wrote on the inside of the petal 137. And this just happened last week. So let me just grab it. I'm sorry, I take a lot of photos. I'm absolutely in love with taking photos. Here it is. 137.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. So
Okay.
just saying, we're connected. So now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 codes on that page. Okay. So I want you to one more time go within, imagine in your heart space the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And I want you to allow a number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 to magnetize to you now.
Five.
Okay. Oh, I love you. So you chose the code that I chose when doing a journey, 963 hertz. So you chose a whole tone, okay? And this is where, once you find the code you need that's in the book, that's where the journey begins. You say, well, what did I ask for and why is that relevant? Okay. So all I'm doing is in a browser, I'm looking for 963 hertz benefits. Okay. So here's the cool thing about the codes. You don't need to know what you need. Your body's going to tell you what you need. So you need to align with where your future self is going with that desire, a little bit of 963 hertz off the cosmic aisle, right? So you just chose 963 hertz. And what is that good for? Well, this
It's one of
frequency is
the.
connected.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, it's one of the perfect. It's one of the perfect frequencies. Nikola Tesla said everything is connected to the numbers 3, 6, and 9, and 3, 6, and 9 exist in, what is it, 2 or 3 of the solfeggio frequencies. There's 396, 639, and 963. There we go.
Exactly. And you just chose the highest one, which is connected with awakening intuition, activating your pineal gland, which is so strange because on Friday, in fact, it'll be in replay, so the date is irrelevant. If you're watching this in replay, go check that out. My YouTube channel is going to be there forever. And it's the pineal gland waterbending activation. And you chose 963 hertz, which is activating your pineal gland. Now, what happens when you activate your pineal gland? You align with your superconscious self, and all of your limiting doubts and identity gets basically overridden with your magnificence. You write yourself new stories that you can actually believe because you got no baggage anymore. You awaken your crown chakra, your Sahasrara, and it raises, I'm reading here from some random Chia Engel, some website. But the point is, you go find what 963 hertz means. And when you program your water with this, you're activating access to the collective definition. Wow. So you're going to raise your positive energy and vibration, help you return to oneness, to your very source. And you're going to start getting pure and bright visions and thoughts in your mind. And isn't that critical? Pure and bright visions. We so often we allow what we're seeing, tasting, touching, smelling, feeling in this temporal world to affect how we feel. We're feeling from the outside in. We're responding. We're reacting. We aren't responding. We're reacting. The world's happening to us versus through us. And so when you get pure and bright visions and thoughts in your mind that override those limitations, you start magnetizing those circumstances and you start having a magical life. I call it a charmed life, but hey, You start going on jet skis in Alaska on fancy yachts.
Yeah. Really? Well,
Oh, my
and then
dear.
the next excursion, wasn't that to Virgin Islands? A
It
little
was St.
scuba
Thomas.
diving lesson?
Oh my gosh, it was incredible.
Wow.
Such an amazing time. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I
And
have a
it just
gallon
keeps
I have
getting
a
better
gallon
and
of
better. And
water.
now I'm on your show. I've got 6 more shows in the next 10 days. Everyone's asking
Wow.
me to be on their shows. Yeah, it's fun. Things are happening. I'm aligning with that reality. I'm ready. The world is ready, and we're just going to have a big water optimization party together.
Sounds great. Sounds like a plan. So your books are available on Amazon. Your website is hollyhallowell.com, and that's on the
Correct.
screen. And
Yeah.
they could also get information about taking a class. What kind of classes and webinars and things do you offer?
Yeah. So, oh, there's a little bit of feedback happening. I can hear myself echoing,
Really?
but yeah, it's all good. It's fine as long as you can't hear it. I can
Well,
disregard.
if you can if you
Yeah.
can hear
So,
it, everybody else can hear it. So
okay. It's faded away now, so that's
there
good.
we go.
So, all right, awesome. Yeah, so I do have a mega dash morphosis universe that I created that's got a bunch of free information. I have my so that's mega dash morphosis.com. I have my assisting frequency Facebook group. That's where I put we just went systematically through one of my books called 21 Day Fear Detox. And so every day I gave everyone a code based on letting go of fear. And it comes in all sorts of facets. So this 21-day fear detox is very effective at stripping away and integrating those layers to free up space for your magnificence. I published that book 3 years ago. And so January 1st, we all got on a journey, and day by day in the assisting frequencies group, we took a journey a day. And 5 minutes a day, that's it. That's all it takes. And then over time, you start overriding those limiting beliefs and living your best life. So uh, that Facebook group is essentially where I would go to tap into anything I'm doing. My YouTube channel is also called Assisting Frequencies. I post things on there. The classes I teach, I'm in the process of writing my 5th book, and I'm playing around with the title. So I'm not quite sure what the title will be, but I think it will be something like Fully Living Your Practically Magical Life, because that's what I really teach people is alchemy. So yeah, there's the Megamorphosis 5-day manifestation challenge. It's free. You can go to mega-morphosis.com, register there, and be taken on a journey with me. But I empower people to remember that they are alchemists, because if you again zoom out past your identity, past your pain, trauma, who you think you are, who you think you can't be, and you come into contact with the fullness of your superconscious self, and you be it to see it, that is really where alchemy lies, because nothing can be created or destroyed. Everything exists right now, either physically or in raw potential. So if you're an alchemist, and you are, all you need to do is change the energy and information, and you transform the manifestation of the mass. Mass is very illusional. We're 99.9% energy and information. Physicality is just 0.01%. It's the collapsed wave function. So if you understand that nothing can be created nor destroyed, everything that is and ever will be is already here, and that all you need to do is transform the energy, collapse the wave function, that's true alchemy. And so I teach people to work with earth, air, fire, water, ether. And so my fifth book is going to be fully living through understanding that you are all things and that you're a divine expression and that everything around you is just oscillating variations of those five elements. It's called plutonic solids. And you can work with sacred geometry. It's in my book a little bit when we talk about the fractal information. It's a fractal information. That's what you are. That's what I am. We're experiencing our reality. We have 99% potential awaiting. And the only reason why we can't get there is because it's not part of our existing template. But when you can flip that and you can access all of that at once, you can pull through the wormhole, transform the energy and information, up level, upgrade, be a match. So I guess that's my answer is I teach people how to take back their power as authors of their life and as cosmic alchemists that can do anything. The sky is not the limit, it's the portal to more. And yeah, we're just really lucky to be in these bodies at this time because the upgrades coming in from Great Central Sun, the information, gosh, 10 years ago, 7 years ago, when I started talking about assisting frequencies, people were like, I mean, there was a group of people who got it, but the vast majority of people now are like, oh, I get that, I understand that. Back in the day when I first started, it would be like you had to convince people that 99% of everything was energy. They didn't get that. They're like, what? I've never heard of that. And now people are like, oh yeah, I know that. So we're getting there, but I empower people to live fully through becoming the author of their life and true alchemists.
One thing is the law of that's easy for you to say. The law of energy conservation is energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Well, the same thing can be said for water. Water can never be destroyed. It can only change form. It
Yeah,
could be the liquid state, the gaseous state, it can be the solid state, or it can be in the fourth phase state. There is also
yeah,
Aqua Nu. They create a water, or they manufacture a water. It's a treated water. It's
mm,
ultra filtered, and then it's exposed to a process that actually binds two of the oxygen atoms together and four hydrogen atoms together. It actually creates openings in the valence bands, so it can very quickly transfer electrons. It's very
mm,
energetic water. It's
mm,
just
mm-hmm.
absolutely off the hook. And
Yeah.
that is the fifth phase of water. But the point I
Mm-hmm.
was trying to make
Mm-hmm.
is that water can never be created or destroyed. It can only change form, like
Yeah.
energy. So water is energy. Drop for drop, water has more energy and more potential than any other substance. And I'm even going to
Yeah.
go out on a limb and say even more than nuclear fission. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that. Maybe I'm wrong, but uh,
I love that you're saying out on a limb because, just because science hasn't validated certain things that we've said today doesn't mean it's not true. It just means science hasn't caught up yet. And
yeah,
so for me, it's so exciting, this new frontier of water technology, because now we
absolutely.
have more and more advanced tools to go ahead and be able to say, wow, this is actually happening. And so I invite any scientist who's got the ability to look and observe what's happening when people use my methods, when they use the codes. I would love for any of them to say, I want to dive in and look and see the changes. I did actually a test with a water alkaline detector. It's actually right here.
Yes, that is on your YouTube page, and
Yeah, the
that was
pH
awesome.
tester.
You you actually were
Yeah,
able to change the pH of water through intent.
yeah, I was.
So
And in real time,
you
beyond
can
the
also
ability of
change
normal. Yeah,
the pH of the body through intent
exactly. Yeah,
and through
exactly.
programmed water and the mother well. So
Yes. Bio
if
water.
if dis okay, now I'm just going out on a limb here again. If dis-ease cannot exist in an alkaline body, it doesn't matter
Yeah,
what the dis-ease is. It's
right.
dis hyphen ease. It doesn't
Exactly.
matter. Alkaline bodies don't deal with that. They don't suffer from
Yep.
dis-ease.
Absolutely.
So it
It's true.
okay, remembering the energy of wholeness, remembering the condition of wholeness. That's all there is.
Yep. It is.
Wow.
It's true. And that's
I am blown away.
cohesion. That's unity.
Yes.
Me
I'm
too. I
okay.
know.
I'm
I
blown
really,
away. And honestly, I mean, there's going to be people out there going, "No, they set that up beforehand." No, absolutely not. We had talked on the phone for like a half hour. It was just like an amazing, enjoyable conversation. Um,
yeah.
neither one of us wanted to get off the phone, but we both had things to do. But we never
Uh-huh.
talked about the exercise that we did. We never.
Nope.
That was a complete surprise to me. I had no idea we were going to be
Yeah.
doing that.
That's
And
amazing. I encourage you. So let's connect the dots with that. So the 963 hertz, that's a definition, right? And the code that you chose is going to unlock that resonance remembrance. So what happens is the code is 528-963-528-963. And so if you take your waterbending rock, which by the way, guys, you can get that at waterbendingrocks.com. If you take your quartz crystal that I've attuned to this process and you scan in, you can see the bending of the quartz. You know how when you look at a real quartz crystal, it flips everything. So you can
yeah,
see the words, the numbers going whoop, like a little barcode straight into this quartz crystal. And it's going to carry the wormhole to the essence of 963 hertz, the collective definition. So this is beyond our understanding of what the sound does and into the subquantum domain. It's essentially where it's the morphic field, the all. It's what God uses to go do 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 do, and here's a dog.
yeah, yeah.
So we're like,
Well,
whoop, and then we drop that in. We wait for 6 hours. The water holds that reality. It sings that song. It pulls through the wormhole, and then you drink that water. Your body is vibrating with the reality of that definition on a quantum level. Your cells just are sipping that up like nectar. And so that's the key you asked for to be a match to the desire that you had in your own mind. It's pretty special.
well, I'm going to turn you loose on Google again. Google 528 benefits. You did it for
Oh yeah, so
963.
528 is the yeah, yeah. So the code is, that's
528
why the
benefits.
code is, yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I feel you on that one.
Okay, so
There's
I grabbed.
so much goodness.
Wow.
That's
Uh,
that's the self-healing positive transformation, the golden chakra, the the earth resonance, the miracle tone, if you will, DNA repair and healing.
mhm.
So yes, 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 yes.
Okay. So I am officially blown away. I mean, You said you're going to be blown away, and I'm just kind of thinking, okay, she's good. I don't know if she's that good. Uh, Trust me, you're that good. Okay.
So no, it's not. So that's where it's like, it's so funny. It's not me at all. It's this big, massive, infinitely intelligent creator energy that we all have access to tap into. I've just been installing and activating codes for 7 years. So I'm
Mhm.
literally living proof. I'm aging in reverse. I'm going to be 45 in 2 months. I don't know. I don't feel 45.
Well,
And my IQ has gone through the roof since I started doing this. My body is strong and feels good. I knock on wood, don't get sick. When I do, a day to recover, if
mhm.
if I even get sick. And as I said, I've traveled around 19 states, I believe, in the last 6 months. You know,
Wow.
it's not me. I'm not special in that. I am special, but you are too. Everyone holds the same creator spark within them and access to our divine birthright. And that's it. You can unlock anything through this technology. And I'm just as blown away as you are. I take my own journeys every week when we go into the megamorphosis, that I call it the Anahata tree. When we journey as a rainbow tribe and we activate these profound memos from our higher self, I sit there and I bawl. I can't believe this is happening, and it's not me. One of my students and I, we always say, you can't make this up. It's just so mind-boggling. And it gets
Mhm.
even more and more exquisite the longer you do it, to where people in the Rainbow Tribe with me, we have frequency recipes. Essentially, what that means is I take us into a 20-minute exercise on mindfulness and expansion and I call it quantum motivation. After I explain the premise of what we're going to be journeying about, we go into our journey, which is guided, and I record that portion so that I can partake of it as well. And we go into what I call the questing world, which is in the morphic field of potential that's totally online with our highest self and our upgrades and our best future. And we get info from ourselves. And it's astonishing the codes that are pulled. If you stacked them up on top of each other and you went through the definition of what they are, it would be exactly what the lesson was. Every time, every
Hmm.
time. I'll say, okay, so what did you see when we were at this portion of the journey? And people will be like, I saw, 42 and 89 and 138 or whatever. And we go through and we decipher. And we're always like, you can't make this up. You go and you look up what that means. And essentially all of the codes in the recipe for that day reiterate to the T exactly the content we just talked about, knowing nothing about it prior. I'm just saying, it's really it's pretty
Yeah.
incredible.
Well, I'm really big on changing the frequency of music and encoding music, moving it from 440 to 432. Well, early on, I was actually moving music from 440 to 444, which is actually activating the 528 hertz component to the music and aligning to that frequency. And then I started moving it from 440 to 432, which is more universal and more connective. But it it's just amazing to me that it came up with 963 and
Yeah.
528 and how
Yeah.
528 is actually part of the code. And I didn't see the number 137, it just came to my head. And I didn't see the number
Exactly.
5, it just came to my head. Just whoa,
Yep.
it's there. So, um
Yeah, I
I am
always tell people not to go to the number, let the number come to you, because otherwise you'll
that's very
start
good.
choosing like your favorite number or your birth date or an angel number. This has to be magnetized. And so it's coming from a different plane of reality than you can even comprehend. So you just let it come through, and you can be patient. You know, if it takes a few minutes, clear your mind, quiet that monkey brain, tether that monkey, just go back into it, and it will come, and it will always be perfect. And so
Tether that
I
monkey.
tether that monkey.
I love it. Um,
Yeah, it's so much fun.
well, I am definitely blown away. I just had to relight my Palo Santo stick here, but it, I
Oh,
have so enjoyed this show. There, there has been so much valuable information, so much life altering and changing information that's been brought out. I mean, what you do is amazing. And uh, tell people again how they can find your Facebook page, how they can find your
yeah,
books, how they can find your website. Just go through it all.
I will. So connect with me. YouTube, it's Assisting Frequencies is the channel. My website is hollyhallowell.com. You can download the Anahata codes at anahatacodes.com. You can purchase a signed copy of my light memory book and waterbending rocks and training videos at waterbendingrocks.com. You can join my mega universe. Just come on journeys with us, our rainbow tribe, at mega-morphosis.com. And I think that's it. Oh, Facebook, it's Assisting Frequencies as well. Unfortunately, I've reached the friend limit, so you'll have to either follow me or go to the group Assisting Frequencies. And when I dip down, I will definitely accept your friend request. And yeah, let's just keep this momentum going. And here's the thing that I really enjoy about my work is it unlocks your potent purpose. Because when we can get the fear factory to stop producing those stress hormones and those neurotoxins that are mucking up our clarity and our vibration, keeping us apart from the us that we know exists. And that's the pain. We know it exists, we just can't get there. Well, when we let go of all of that and we align with who we really are, and things start snapping into place in magical ways that aren't magical at all, they're just natural law,
Mhm.
boy, then we start feeling into, what do I want to do? What am I here for? And we align with our potent purpose. That's the most important thing for me, is getting people to align with their magic and feel into that, express, create, because we're going to do this together. You know, we're rising into the 5D at warp speed, despite the perception of catastrophe. You know, Armageddon is transformation. This is total integration of the dark night of the soul. Like, as a collective group, we're doing this. We're the neurons of Gaia. This is why the grid work that I do is so revolutionary as well. And all of you, we are all neurons. And what we think about becomes, and we've gotten sloppy. We've let some other people think for us, and we've ended up where we are. No more.
Mhm.
And the ascension is happening without anyone's permission.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
the
here.
more
It's
the more
happening,
people
whether
try
you
to,
like
no,
it or
no, no,
not.
no, no, no. What'd you say?
What, whether you like it or not, it's here. It's happening.
Yeah.
Welcome to today.
Welcome.
That's the deal.
Yeah.
So,
And
well,
it's
thank you so
just
much.
so amazing. Oh,
Thank you so
Paul,
much.
I
I
love
would.
you so much. I feel like, as you said, when we spoke on the phone so briefly, it was like meeting a friend that I had before. Like, we just, we click and we know each other. And you're special to me, and I really appreciate you having me on the show and all of the amazing things you're going to do now, and we're going to do together. Just awesome, awesome, awesome.
You You are special to me as well. And it's going to be really, really hard to try and figure out how to pare this program down to 55 minutes so it'll actually fit on BBS radio. And 55 minute collective of this program. We're hour and 35 minutes so far. What do I cut out of it? Good grief. There will be a 55-minute presentation of this interview on BBS Radio TV. That will be 9 p.m. Central Time, February 5th on BBS Radio TV / logical thinking. It's bbsradio.com / logical thinking. That's where you'll be able to see it. But or you could just see this archive, this replay on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, two different YouTube channels, Rumble, Odyssey, D Live. We're everywhere, literally everywhere. So share this program, buy the book, go check out the website, hollyhallowell.com. Love the name, and it, I am blown away. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Nobody. Speechless
You're
is
so
not a thing that
sweet.
I do very often because I never shut up.
Mm.
But thank you so much for being here. It has been
Oh,
such a pleasure. So
oh, thank you.
we will catch you later. Thank you for joining us. And go forth, be amazing. Do the mother well.
Yeah.
Bless your water. Uh, get rid of that PTSD in every single drop.
Hmm.
Do it. Do it to it. Thanks so much. We'll see you
Yes.
next time.
Woo! We're going to do it together. Love to you all and blessings on your path. You guys are powerful, powerful, sovereign beings. And I look forward to connecting with you. And Paul, you are so sweet to have me on your show. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye bye now.